Okay, so it's Monday morning, Moon Day. Moon Day is all about the vibes. It's all about, you know, the moon is related to water, it's related to emotions and feelings and what you're carrying. So, Monday is always a good day to make sure you're not carrying and connecting to the wrong individuals or, you know, being taken advantage of or taking advantage of other people. Moon Day, during Moon Day, also, you know, I'm trying my best. Oh, shit! I was trying my best to be calm through these birds and pigeons. And, yo, I'm working on being positive when it comes to the vibe of pigeons. It's just like, for me, they fly so slow and low, and they interact with like humans a lot from what I've seen out here in Puerto Rico. Like I didn't notice pigeons as much before I lived in Puerto Rico. But I wouldn't even say like Puerto Rico, because the other places that I have lived in Puerto Rico did not have so much of a prominent presence of pigeons like in Río Piedras. So, I'm not going to say it's all of Puerto Rico, but anyway, so I'm just going to use that situation as like a learning lesson for myself, because it's like you could be focused on a goal, you could be focused on your mission, you could be focused on your intention, and there's so many other things going on around you, like I'm talking about the vibes, making sure you connecting with the right individuals, you know what I'm saying? And you're not carrying any old, outdated feelings and emotions. And sometimes when you get interacted and you encounter with those things, it's to show like what you're gonna do with it now, type shit. Like what you're gonna do when these pigeons pass. And I know you low key, you don't really fuck with them. Okay, so I stopped right here because this is one of the jobs where I worked at a car wash for a couple days, and I also worked at another car wash on this same street up there. So, on my way to the post office, which is where I'm going today, I will, be just kind of reflecting on those experiences in a way. Because, I'm passing them, I'm on my way, to the post office, like I said. And, that's why I said it's important that you're not carrying the wrong things. Like you're not carrying the wrong thoughts and feelings and ideas. You're not carrying the wrong emotions and connecting to the wrong individuals, because I've noticed that being outside and walking around, especially me walking at a slower pace than what I usually walk, can sometimes attract certain people to me that gives off this sort of like, oh, she might want to converse. She might want to have a conversation with me for some reason, And I don't know if it's because, like, I usually walk very fast and I be in my own world. So it's like, there's no way I'm not gonna say there's no way, but it's a lot harder to approach me because I'm either dancing, spinning in circles, I got my song on, and like I barely even notice. Like if someone is acknowledging me, it would have to be like a yo like that or something, and even then, what I'm saying, it's just like I be in my own world. And then when I'm not listening to music, I'm walking like I'm fucking Flash Sonic the Hedgehog or I'm damn near running walking, you know what I'm saying? And so I've noticed that when I walk a lot slower, I do learn about my surroundings in a bit of a different way. I would say that when I be walking faster, I be more so focused on my destination. And then when I walk slower, I be more so like, well, I don't usually walk slow, but, me walking slow now is just like a difference in journey, a difference in, my travels and things like that. But yeah, so Monday is all about the vibes. Make sure that, you're securing your vibe and you're securing, how you feel, and you're not letting anybody, impact you too much in a negative way. If you are going to be impacted by the environment, make sure it's in a way that you are correlating, like these are things to just remind myself as well, because I am a Cancer moon, my natal moon, you know what I'm saying? So Mondays is a very important day for me to pay attention to how I am emotionally reacting and responding, and how I am emotionally reacting and responding, and the things that I'm carrying from the previous days. It's important that I don't carry too much weight just in general in my life, and it's important that I'm not carrying, so this is the job right here, but it's important that I'm not carrying too much weight, or if I am carrying a certain level of weight and emotions and stuff like that, I'm knowing what to do with it. I'm knowing how to transform it. I'm knowing how to transmute it, and it's not the same old, outdated, decaying weight that's detrimental to me. It's more so the weight that I'm able to lift and develop muscles to strengthen myself along the way. So this is the job right here. It used to be a car wash. It looks like things have changed a lot. I'm gonna cross the street real quick so I can show y'all. Okay, so this big old parking lot was a car wash where I worked, and right here in front of these two boats right here, there was an ambulance, and inside of the ambulance it was like the vacuum we use and other equipment in Spanish is like equipo or whatever, equipo, something like that. And so there was like a barrier right here, and then there was like a tent for the cars to go over. Where it wasn't a tent, it was a tarp to go over like the cars and stuff like that. And so the cars would like drive around this way, and then they would come through, and I would ask them like I would say like todo, which is like everything inside and out, or I would say vacuum, which is like vacuum, or I say entrar y afuera, inside and out. And then like when it was like done, I would say like está ready, or ready, or something like that. What else some words? At this job I also learned and yeah, because this was the first car wash I worked at, and I worked here a lot longer than the other one that's up the street this way. But at this one, like I learned lavado de carro, which is like wash car wash car, lavado. I also learned I learned auto, I think how you say it, which is like the rim of the tire, sort of. I learned puñeta, which I know people be saying outside of the car wash, but it was a lot of that going on, like people saying that. I learned propina, which is tips. What else I learned? I learned that's like as far as Spanish. I also learned, I think todavía I learned here. Um, and todavía is like still, like I still don't want to, or I still no. The answer is still no, like, or something like that. Um, but yeah, it was like $50 a day, and you worked like all day from like 9 to 6. Depending on the manager that was working at the time would depend on how much of the tips you would actually receive, but it was supposed to be like equaled out between all of us. Behind this is like a thing where, like, when it rains, that's when it be like water. You can hear all the water like pouring down or whatever. Over here would be like a bunch of cars. It would be like a bunch of cars that would just be stationary. They would just be there all the time. I think they were like the owner cars and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it was a lot of, you know how you work like a particular job and there's like a huge turnover rate. So at that particular job, there was like a lot of people coming in and out, a lot of people quitting, a lot of people working certain days. They didn't want everybody to work every day. It was a lot of confusion and it was a lot going on, but I did learn a lot from this job as far as like what I'm capable of. Spanish. I learned how to clean cars real good. When I get my car, I'm gonna take a lot better care of it than the car I had previously. Sometimes I would come early and the woman manager anyway, she would always come at different times. So I would just like stand right here and I would just like wait. Like I would wait for it to open. I would stand right here and I would be dancing. I remember I would see like a swan sometimes in like this lake, and I would just think and write about different stories. But I will also see some people, they would sleep in here. Some people would come up in the morning and I would see them with like their stuff and with somebody else that they might have been with that previous day or whatever. And sometimes people would like stand right here and just like pee. Like it's it's a life. I'm just talking about the different things that I noticed. But the name of this neighborhood is San Agustin. But yeah, so they had like different managers and stuff. The original managers of it was these two guys. They were twins, and they were very nice. One was a lot quiet than the other one, but they were very nice. They didn't really, nobody at the job really knew English at all except for maybe like one or two people, and they wouldn't be there all the time and stuff. So I did learn a lot of Spanish in that environment. But so yeah, I also learned like there were certain people that worked there, and I learned the signs of a person that like uses drugs basically, and they're able to like I wouldn't say hide it well. I kind of had like a perception of like what crackheads looked like. Like I just thought that people that were crackheads were like out, and it looked like they were like always in need and were like struggling, and like dirty clothes and hair fucked up and shit like that, right? But at that job is where I learned that which is crazy because as I've said in a previous video, my dad did actually do drugs, but like I didn't really know. My mom didn't even really know. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so at that job I learned that you know, like, it's more so about the behavior, how they're moving around. Like, one of the people there that did drugs or whatever, he will always have to be doing something. Like, he will always have to be moving around. He couldn't just stand there and just like be still. Like, he had to always be moving around. And I know that people have other labels and things like ADHD and stuff like that, which is what I was kind of thinking. I'm just like, oh, people are all different. Like, you know, some people have to constantly move around and they like to work. You know how people work a job and, you know, they always finding something to do. Like, people would define that as a hard worker. You can always find something to do, and like at car washes and stuff, depending on the car wash. But what I learned there is that they do actually like to hire crackheads because they will work very, very hard. And even if they did complain to a certain extent, it was like they know all they care about is these drugs, and they're gonna work for these drugs. They're gonna be on time for these drugs. And like, even if they negligent in other areas, like when things are slow, they might go missing, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. They like can like appreciate their work ethic to an extent. So that's really what I learned about like crackheads and shit. I mean, crackheads might not be like the proper term, I guess, but I feel like they all are like the same to me. Like junkie, bum, crackhead. Like, I feel like they are all equally what's the word, like it could equally offend somebody, basically. Like, it's equally like, you know, and there probably is another term like substance abuse disorder or something, but you know, I say whatever the fuck I want to say. I was just, you know, saying. But yeah, so, and this is like Plaza Luisa area, the supermercado I showed in a previous video. I usually come from the other way, but I wanted to show that job that I was working at. But since I'm going to the post office today, I'm gonna be going to the end of this and I'm gonna make a left, and I'm gonna be basically going straight for a really fucking long time, and then I will reach the post office. But yeah, so I basically learned a lot about how people who do certain drugs, they move around a whole lot, like how he was moving around. He's also a Libra, though. He was a Libra, and you know, Saturn is exalted in Libra, and Libras can actually really, really work hard. And the reason I'm saying actually is because the sun is debilitated in Libra, so it can be hard for Libras to take action. But once there's like a routine and schedule in place, and when there's a routine and schedule in place, that can be really good for a Libra, I feel. Especially when you already have your own schedule, you're already aware of the planetary alignments and the movements that's going on. You know what each like day of the week represents, you know, so you have your own schedule, and you know, you don't allow yourself to be too flunked out. But if you are flunked out as an individual and you have a desire, a deep desire, aka like this individual, like if you a Libra and you a crackhead and you got a deep desire to get those drugs done, you will work really fucking hard to get those drugs. But also, it's like, I'm not gonna say Libras in general, but with this particular individual, he did some fucked up shit. Because you know how sometimes Libras can allow a lot of shit or whatever. They allow a lot of shit, and then when you really fucked up, you become that person that been fucking you, like the person that been fucking you over, you become that person, you know what I'm saying? And in the process of you becoming that person, and as you are that person, you do fucked up shit because of the people that you was allowing to do shit to you, right? So like with him, like people was like borrowing money from him. They wasn't giving him all his tips. And you know, he was being like, everybody was supposed to be getting equal amount of tips. Nobody was. It was really about favoritism. If they liked you enough, if the right manager and person was working, if you was paying attention, if you was there at the right time, you know, it was a lot of shady ass shit going on like that, you know. But for this particular individual, he took it so hard because his deep desire goal was to get drugs. So it was like, you know, like for you if you lose some money, you know what I'm saying, it's like, well, I'm not gonna say you, I'll say me. If I was to lose some, like for me, money right now, my main focus for money and getting money and stuff like that is to get art supplies. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to get some real good watercolor paint. I want to get some oil paint. I want to get some acrylic paint. I want to get some real good sketchbooks, the ones with white paper and blue paper and brown paper and green paper, all the different kind of ones. I'm gonna get me a real good sharpener that sharpen pencils real good and real pointy. You know what I'm saying? I want to get me a real good eraser that don't fuck up the paper and the page. You know, I want to get me a portable easel, and also an easel that's at home. I want to set up my studio real good. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to get a whole lot of art supplies. Like I have like a new apartment I'm moving into, but like it's still in the process of solidifying things, like as far as like the apartment and paperwork and stuff like that. And you know, usually when somebody gets an apartment, they thinking about like you know, pots and pans and like getting a bed and like kitchen supplies and stuff like that. Like all I'm really thinking about is art supplies. Like that's all I'm thinking about, you know, like literally that's it, you know. So I'm just saying, like when a person has like a person, an individual, who they are, regardless of if they're Libra or not, you know. Oh yeah, I was saying like, okay, let's say I lose $25 or think I'm not getting the amount of money that I expected after a long day of work, or I didn't get any tips or something like that. You know, like I was in the same position as far as the amount of money I was getting than this guy, right? But I seen that like based off of my attitude, it's like, or based off of me not like complaining about certain shit and stuff like that, I would notice like how I would get a little bit more, and they would tell me not to say nothing and shit like that. But then I seen how they was doing that same shit to me, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, I realized that this whole situation and everything all together is very, very flunked out, and they're gonna take advantage of everybody, you know what I'm saying? So I realized that, and I didn't have a lot of attachment to the money. I was just like, I mean, I don't give a fuck about the money either way it go, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, you know, like right now, if I don't get that certain, if I work the whole day and I didn't get that certain amount of money or whatever, right? I'm more so like, okay, I still have art supplies though. Like I still got pencils and colored pencils and sharpeners and paper and you know, even if I didn't have any paper or pens left, it's kind of easy for me to get a pen or utilize the pens I do have, like the pens I might not want to use, but I'm still able to portray and express my message in a certain way. Like I don't have too much to complain about, and I wasn't really ever the type of person that, you know, really needed much or anything like that. So, you know, I feel like when you are in a needy and desperate space, that's when, you know, you could be taking things even really harder than it had to be, you know. Like part of me didn't really understand why he would be tripping so much and stuff like that, but then I started to get to know him a lot more, and I noticed like, oh, okay, so not only are they like taking advantage of him and shit like that, it's like, and I'm saying all this because this is something for me to learn from, and like the perspective of like me being a Libra myself and seeing how you allowing other people to take advantage of you, and you think that makes you a good person and all this shit. You think people gonna treat you right because you and shit like I was able to see it played out in another person, you know what I'm saying? And but yeah, I just started to see like, okay, so he actually lives in like the ambulance and shit that they have available. They let him stay there, and you know, they giving him extra jobs to do and shit like that, but they're not always paying him for them jobs. And you know, like the whole situation was very fucked up. So I can understand why he had those level of frustrations. And on top of that, his deep desire for drugs. So it was like all fucked up, you know. So I realized for me, like, I couldn't attach much to this individual, like, you know, as far as like conversation. You know how you like talk to people and get to know your coworkers and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we would have like conversations and stuff, because he was one of the people, like, he did speak English. Actually, he's from New York, you know. So, you know, I did feel like a sense of familiarity, because it's like, oh, like, I felt the familiarity from like, oh, he's a Libra, so he be trying to relate to shit. But then I see like the flunked out attributes in a Libra, and I'm like, okay. And then on top of that, he's from New York, you know, and I'm from I'm from a place that, you know, speaks English and similar to places in the physical realm that he has, you know, come from too as well, you know. So, you know, so there was all of that. But then I just realized, like, I see the results I'm getting. I see what's going on with me. I know this is a flunked out situation altogether, because I didn't want to work at the car wash anyway, but I was able to, let me think, am I going the right way? I usually walk on the other side of the street. So I would keep going straight for a very long time. I would pass this Turkish restaurant, but it's over there, because I usually walk on the other side of the street. But yeah, so I was able to learn a lot about myself with whatever job I had. I was always able to learn a lot about myself, you know, and, you know, just like detriments and things with myself, because it's like, you know, sometimes I do really take the short end of the stick or whatever, because I be thinking like being nice and being calm and being like not aggressive towards certain things is like always the good thing. Like, I be feeling like that sometimes, a lot of times, especially like in the workplace. Like, I be seeing other people go off on each other and arguing with each other and shit like that. And I would just automatically think like, oh, this is a work environment, and like I shouldn't participate really in those type of things. But I'm observing it, and, you know, it's tea. But like, you know, for me personally, I just, you know, but then I started to notice, and I started to see, like, even before I came to Puerto Rico, where it's like sometimes I wouldn't know necessarily when to put that aggression in and where it is supposed to be placed in the work environment or in like a workplace or whatever. Like, because there is a time and a place for passion and aggression and aggressiveness and being like, I wouldn't say like I was gonna say like disgruntled or whatever, but like there is a time and a place for like just playing out certain energies that I'm not really comfortable with showing, like in a workplace, like in a work environment. Like, cause I be thinking like I'm supposed to already act in a certain way being at work, and I enjoy being passive and like not passive aggressive, but I enjoy being passionate and aggressive in the areas of life that I choose for them to be, like art, poetry, colors, shit like that. Like, I don't like to have aggressive and passion and shit towards something I don't even give a fuck about the job. I don't give a fuck about nothing that's really going on here or any of these people that's working here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me to feel strongly, like if I'm gonna feel strongly at work, it's because I'm physically putting in the action of how good I'm gonna clean this car. You know what I'm saying? How well I'm gonna vacuum in between the crevices, and how good it's gonna have a shine. And like, that's what my aggression would be towards. If I'm working at like I have worked at a school, like as a cafeteria lady and shit before, and you know, my passion was towards like, you know, making sure that everybody gets a really good portion of food, and I didn't give a fuck about the rules. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck that y'all telling us to only give them 4 fucking chicken nuggets. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will give them as many chicken nuggets as I want to give them, especially because at the end of the day, it be so much fucking food and y'all be throwing it out. And then on top of that, y'all got rules like food can't be taken out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I didn't give a fuck about none of those rules. I was passionate about, like, okay, I remember being in middle school, and in middle school I was a cafeteria lady at, was the same fucking middle school I actually went to. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like seeing myself if I was in the same position as these kids, you know, and me just being a Libra in general, like, it's like easily being able to put yourself in other people's shoes and seeing, you know what I'm saying, certain shit or whatever. But I thought he was giving us a show, like about to do some back flips and shit. But yeah, like, so, you know, like, that's where my passion was towards, like my passion, like, I've seen the other passion and aggression that was going on, you know, with the other people that was working there, and it was for them more so towards each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, they mad at each other about certain shit. And I'm just like, you know, like, observing that shit. But then that shit started to be directed towards me. Same thing with the previous car wash job I was talking about, where it was like, you know, that shit was being directed towards me, like, oh, she's the quiet one, she don't be saying it, nothing, she don't really be talking to nobody, and she work real hard, you know what I'm saying, she be doing extra shit or whatever. And, you know, then it started to be like, oh, she doing extra shit, she work hard, she said herself, and now she helping me a lot, but today she don't want to help me as much, she helping this other person instead. You know, it's like people started to place me into all these different areas and all these different boxes that I wasn't really, like, comfortable in and shit like that. But I was having a hard time, like, saying, like, speaking up for myself and shit, because I had seen where, like, these people will go to war with each other, and I'm just like, I don't even want you to think I care or I give a fuck that much about you or this job to, like, argue with you and shit, you know. So I would, like, be in my head about stuff, so I would avoid them as much as possible, like, you know, and shit. And it just seemed like it didn't matter what the fuck I did, these bitches was fucking angry at me. You know what I'm saying? I started working at the car wash, and, you know, these, like, I'm talking about, like, I'm like, you know how you ask somebody something and you be like, this is my question, you know, whenever you get a chance. But, like, I'm that type of person where I'm like, I'll ask you a question, I know we at work, you know what I'm saying, but I'm gonna add, like, whenever you get a chance to, like, answer the question type shit. Not saying you gotta even do it now and shit. Like, I was so, like, I feel like I'd be so overly nice that it can, like, piss people off or some shit. Like it'd be weird. Like, I'd be trying to figure it out, you know what I'm saying? But I had to realize and notice, which I learned a lot from my dreams. I learned so much from my dreams, where it's like, yo, like, the way I'm able to play out stuff and the way I'm able to see stuff and swim and go about things in my dreams, right? It's like, yo, that type of shit is what you're supposed to be doing, low-key, when you open your fucking eyes and you transform and you wake up from the dream space to this physical realm and shit. That shit you was doing in your dream is a lot of the type of shit you're supposed to be doing when you're interacting with people in the physical realm, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I'll be like, oh, okay, like, you know, so it makes sense and I understand, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, I've been through so many flunked out experiences, especially when it comes to, like, jobs and shit, and, you know, I'm just like, yo, like, okay, I'm in the process of, you know, about to start a new job, about to have an interview, you know, in a couple of days and shit like that. And, you know, when it comes to the days of the week, you want to learn about the things that was going on in the previous days. Like, you know, today is Monday, so the things I was thinking about and having on my mind, the actions and the stuff I was focusing on Sunday, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was learning and researching a lot, you know, about myself and my alignments, just giving myself, like, a really thorough reading, you know, especially when I'm about to enter into new spaces and enter into new things, you know what I'm saying? Especially at the start of the year when, like, other people are trying to do new stuff too, you know, when it comes to, like, revelations and shit, like, and New Year's and holiday shit. Like, they're just coming out of holiday shit and focusing on all of the, putting this energy in action towards other individuals and shit. But for me, I'm thinking about each and every day, regardless of if a holiday just passed. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, okay, let me make sure whatever I was thinking and focus on, whatever my actions was being towards, whatever ideas and thoughts and stuff I had on my mind on Sunday, you know what I'm saying, are things I'm going to be reflecting about today, right? And the things that was going on Saturday, it's like throughout each day before this day, it's like certain things to learn from so that you're not like repeating certain cycles and stuff like that, so I'm just like, okay, what can I learn from Sunday? What are some actions that I had going on Sunday that's not necessarily going to help me improve or better myself or help me today or whatever. So I think, okay, and then before Sunday, Saturday, it was like what I wasn't restricting myself enough on, or like what didn't I detach from enough in Saturday. And then it's like Friday, for me, low-key, it like starts my week type shit because, I'm a Libra, and Libra is, like Venus Day or whatever. Libra is ruled by Venus, so it's like when it comes to Venus, it's like love, appreciating, and valuing shit, and extra emphasis on that, right? But also for me as an actual Libra, even though that's the start of my week, it's like I also have to make sure that I'm actually taking action on things, but not taking action and indulging too much on things. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to get some ice cream or some shit on a Friday, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, it's like, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But Friday is also about, love, appreciating, and valuing the stuff I had going on that particular day and the stuff going on previous to that day, and loving, appreciating, and valuing myself and my creative attributes and my imagination and my individuality from the previous, from the previous days and shit like that. But not to say that you're supposed to focus on so many things from the previous day, because it really is about the current moment. But it's like when you're able to learn from before, when you're able to learn from the previous things that was going on, when I'm able to, like, I was going in depth about this job and that job and shit, and I actually passed that job and stuff like that, it's like I'm able to learn from how I was acting at those previous jobs, where it's like I don't have to be overly passive, like I don't have to take the short end of the stick, like I don't have to it's important that I put my actions in a new way. Like, my initial action into going into jobs is what'll set the tone for my experience with that whole job. And it's like, yeah, you could know that and write it down and shit like that, but if you don't really understand it, it's like, the fuck is the point of you writing that shit down and shit like that? So it's important for me to actually learn from the things that I actually know about, and not just saying the shit, but actually applying the shit. And I think that's probably why, I went into so much detail and was talking so much about just like my experience with those jobs, what I was learning and seeing from other individuals, how people take advantage of people and shit like that. Because for me, sometimes, like, I can be like, how people got their guard up at first, like when they meet somebody, where they're just like, all right, like, I got my guard up, and I don't know you, so it's like I'm not gonna trust you, because I gotta get to know you before I just put my trust in you, and stuff like that. Like, for me, I be getting lost in certain shit, because I'll be like, oh, this person got a good vibe, they got a beautiful smile, and they got a great talent. And it's just like, no, that's not how it works. It don't matter how talented, how beautiful, how good of a vibe a person got at a certain period of time. It doesn't mean that they trustworthy. It don't mean that you could trust them. Like, and that should be fucking me up sometimes, because sometimes I don't be knowing the damn difference. And I'm just like, vibes, it's all about the vibes. Like, and it's like, yeah, it's all about the vibes, but it's important to actually build rapport and build trust, and for people to build that on you being too easily trusting they can't trust you, bitch. And then the other way around, like, why the fuck you trusting people who you just now meeting and just now seeing? I'll be feeling like, oh, let me give people the benefit of the doubt. And it's like, no, nigga, these niggas ain't shit. These people ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so that's something I gotta learn too. Like, I was just, like, my previous quote-unquote manager and shit from, like, the car wash job and the embroidery job I was working at and shit, like, I was just like, oh, these people be kind of nice sometimes, like, especially because I would see how they would talk to other people and shit, and I'm like, oh, well, they don't talk to me like that, they be nice. Like, so I'm like, oh, maybe they, you know, like, see something to me, maybe, I don't know, like, it would just be all fucked up in the head. And it's just like, girl, like, I have to actually learn from people's body language, and that's part of my, like, part of the reason why I got lost in a previous life with certain shit, where it's just like, you be so fixated and lost on the physical realm and physical shit, you know, but you don't be seeing the right physical shit. Like, I'll pick up on some shit, but I'll act like I didn't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll be seeing certain people body language, and I'll be knowing, like, this person, like, got some shit going on or whatever, but it's this other shit going on too, and I would be blinded by, like, the good shit that they was trying to present and ignoring the fucking red flags that I was seeing. So, you know, I'm just like, damn, like, you know, but awareness is very, very important. You know what I'm saying? Having awareness is very important. Like, me not knowing this shit, I was in more of a fucked up place. Because I'm just like, why are things happening? Like, why does shit be fucked up? Like, why do people treat me like this and that? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, girl, like, because you don't be treating your fucking self right. Like, you be thinking it's okay for certain shit, and it don't be okay. But you be acting like it be okay because you can actually, like, I can handle a lot of shit. I can carry a lot of shit, aka Moon and Cancer. I can carry a lot of shit. I could hold on to all these weights and carry shit. And I could, like, literally too, like, physically, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've walked all the way from Río Piedras to the airport with bags and shit. No break, no fucking water, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you don't know how far that is, Google it. Río Piedras, RIO space Piedras, Puerto Rico to San Juan Airport. Like, Google that shit. Like, it probably gonna stay at a certain point. You can't even continue to walk. Like, when I looked up the directions for, like, how to, and at the time, like, I was just trying to see, how can I go from the beach to the airport? How can I walk to the beach from the airport? Google was acting like it's not possible. So I had to make that shit possible. I had to look at the map and see which direction the damn airport was. And I'm like, okay, I see which way the planes is flying. So I'm going to go that way. You know what I'm saying? I kept going that way. I was reading certain signs. You know, I had to be a car. Like, you know how people be walking and you might be driving and you might be thinking, like, damn, where the fuck is this person going? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations where it was like, I had to make a way for my damn self to be able to get through, you know what I'm saying? For me to be able to get to the other side of, like, you want to get to the airport, you know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily available for you. It's not, like, necessarily available for you and shit. So it's like, you gonna have to make that way. You want to go to the airport? Fucking act like it. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit it was. You know what I'm saying? So, like, in that process, it was like I was carrying a lot of shit as far as my bags, but at the same time I had to detach from the shit. Like, I had to detach, and it's like I could know the balance when it comes to certain situations, but in that situation I was by myself with my bags, you know what I'm saying? So it was easy for me to be like, okay, let me trust my intuition, boom, 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 that's how I'm gonna move, you know what I'm saying? My feet hurt, fuck that shit, I'm gonna keep going, you know what I'm saying? My arm is fucking hurting, switch bags, you know what I'm saying? I'm fucking thirsty, make some fucking saliva and drink that shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or, you know, I'm tired, my back is hurting, bitch, you at Planet Fitness, you working out, nigga, people work out, I know you can work out, you know what I'm saying? Walking around, phone dead, no GPS, no service, bitch, look at the fucking cars in the direction they going, look at the signs, and it's just like, bitch, you can't even see the signs, you don't got no glasses, bitch. And it's just like, well, just trust your intuition. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had to figure this shit out. So it's like, I realized, like, yeah, like, I'm a strong spirit, like, you know, my intuition, my Cancer moon, you know, it comes good into play, you know what I'm saying, with shit, where it's just like, you could pick up the vibes and trust yourself. You got a strong ass intuition, and Cancer, the most powerful fucking sign ever. You know what I'm saying? This is ruled by the moon. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, girl, you fucking powerful. But then it's like, when it comes to certain individuals, when it involves a lot of other people, that's when I can get really flunked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I can get really funked the fuck out, where it's like you're not acting in your regular nature sometimes. Like, I don't be acting in my regular nature of like, you know, I could figure this shit out, I could do this. Like, that's how I am when I'm by myself figuring something out and I'm in a survival type situation where it's just like, bitch, ain't nobody gonna move their legs but you. You know what I'm saying? When I'm around a lot of other people, especially if I'm comfortable with them, or if I begin to be comfortable with them, I start to put my guard down in certain places where it's like, and you know how, okay, for example, if you by yourself, okay, let's say you was on a plane, right, and that plane crashed and you got out and nobody else did, and you had to fend for yourself, you know, so you had to instantly develop these fucking skills to be able to get through that shit. You had to like, you had to have this certain level of trust in yourself. Like, you couldn't be a bitch. You couldn't complain. You couldn't fucking like sit around and wait for somebody to come feed you because you fucking hungry. You couldn't just like, and not to say that, you know, I'm just saying, like, sometimes you can, you know, drive to the fast food place, you know what I'm saying, and order some fucking food, or you can go home and you can cook and you got all the materials that's for cooking and shit. But when you're in a situation where it's no fucking supplies, it's no food, it's no nothing, when you're in that situation, you don't trust no fucking body. You might run into people and shit. You in that situation, you run into people, you might be like, oh shit, it's another person, but you got your guard up. You don't know that fucking person. Even, okay, let's say it's not a person, an animal, bitch, a fucking tiger, a fucking lion, a fucking bear, or some shit. You're not gonna be thinking about befriending this bear and, oh shit, now I don't got as much to handle, I don't got as much weight on my shoulders because it's another individual here. Like, you know, you're gonna still be on your guard. You're gonna be like, man, fuck this fucking animal, I gotta live. You know what I'm saying? If this nigga is here, I can kill him and eat that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Or like, you know, I gotta do what I gotta do, but I gotta trust myself more importantly. I can't trust the people that I'm starting to interact with so instantly and so quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I would go through certain things where I would develop these skills and shit, and then sometimes I would forget them fucking skills because of me being in other places and locations and feeling like I didn't need those skills based off of what it would look like. And it's like, girl, like, the way this situation looks right now, look like that, and it could look like that all it, you know, for whatever. But those skills that you gained with like trusting yourself, what you have the ability to be able to carry, you know what I'm saying, you making a way for yourself, you being able to fend for yourself, you being able to improvise, all of them fucking skills, you still fucking need at a job where everything is placed right there in front of you. You still need that drive and that push and that ability to be able to make food and meals and shit without pots and pans and, you know what I'm saying, even if it wasn't foods and meals and shit, if you couldn't access food, you know what I'm saying, I done learned when you don't have nothing fucking to eat, how you be just fine if you got the right mentality. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you working at a job and there's food all around you, you hungry, you think you about to pass out, and it's like, bitch, like, you done walked fucking miles and miles and miles without fucking food and been just fine. So now you want to get in certain environments and act like you forgot what that's like. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when you're in the kind of position where, you know, like, okay, for instance, let me talk a little bit about my North Node, right? Shout out to Jackie New, because she had wrote a comment and she was like, asking me about my experiences and revelations when it comes to North Node and Scorpio, and I'm gonna do a separate video about that. But, you know, because my South Node was in Taurus, right now it's important for me to detach from all things that fucking matter. All of the shit that matter. All the shit that I thought mattered, all the material shit, the clothes, the food, all of that shit. I had to completely detach from that shit. I have to learn to completely detach from that shit. And when I don't completely detach from that shit and I'm too clinged on to that shit, like I'm too clinged on to food, I'm too clinged on to clothes, I'm too clinged on to material realm and clinging on to too much to certain friendships and relationships and shit like that, I'm gonna be forced into a fucking situation that forces me to detach from this situation because of the revelations I was getting, right? So like, you might have trusted this person all your life, this group of people, these friends, you might have trusted this, right? And it's been times where I felt like I had a lot of friends and I, like when I went to college and shit, I trusted them, you know what I'm saying? I trusted those people I was around and shit. I felt like they was my friends and shit, right? But like, I was getting revelations. Like, you know, when you get a revelation, it's like you always thought it was like this, and then something happened and it's just like, oh shit, it's not really like that. You know what I'm saying? And then in that instant, you like, your whole life has changed. Like the way you was thinking before, what you was doing before, how you was acting, how you was moving, everything changed in a fucking instant. You know what I'm saying? You don't got no time to process that shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta just fucking deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once you that's like, once you realize that, like once I realized these motherfuckers wasn't really my friends and shit, once I realized like, you know, like damn, like this shit, I put my guard down trusting somebody, I'm dependent on these motherfucking people, right? I'm like, oh shit, I actually can't depend on these fucking people, right? So I'm like, okay, now I gotta get back in survival mode. It's just me, you feel me? Fuck these motherfuckers. You know, like how you trust somebody so fucking much, you know what I'm saying, where it gets toxic, you know what I'm saying? That's what it was. So it was like, okay, now I can't trust these people, even though I really, really could before. And that shit hurt, and you gonna feel that hurt, but you can't harbor in that hurt because you still gotta move forward. That's like, right now, if everything right now in this physical realm was to completely disappear, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna have to figure out how to build some shit. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I can't wallow and sit and think like, damn, I remember the days when it was sidewalks. I remember the days when it was this and that. I can't wallow, like I can't be like, I remember the days when I had friends. Like, you feel me? Fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, when you're able to develop and build that trust in yourself, none of that shit fucking matter. These other people shit, you know what I'm saying? That shit don't fucking matter. It would felt good having friends. It felt good having sidewalks and all this material shit. But for me, I was clinging on to too much to that shit before. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't got time to be forced into a situation because I didn't want to transform that shit for myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, all right. So boom, I got to detach from shit. It's important I detach from shit. I had a whole lot of near-death experiences and near-death type situations. The kind of situations I had was the kind of situations that made me have to transform in a fucking instant, right? I had a whole fucking lot of those experiences, right? So I'm like, okay, I keep having, and my North Node is in retrograde. So before, I was experiencing shit and I was not fucking learning from the shit that I was experiencing. So it's like, girl, again, here is the shit. You're going to learn from it now. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been learning from this shit now. But my North Node conjuncts. My North Node is Scorpio. And my North Node is also in the third house. You know what I'm saying? So the near-death experiences and all that type of shit I was experiencing was from my surroundings. It was from shit I'm familiar with. So I got to detach not only from the physical realm, not only from the material realm, not just from the shit that matter, but all my familiar people, places, and things and all that shit. All that familiar shit. You know what I'm saying? Too detached. I meant too attached, too familiar, too comfortable with a fucking family member and shit. You know, before it was friends, it was fucking family members and shit. You know what I'm saying? Me clinging on to detaching and attaching, thinking I could trust these people and shit, realizing that I can fucking not. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of them experiences and shit. But I'm saying, with my North Node being in my third house, right? It's like my familiar people, places, and things. You know what I'm saying? My neighborhood. Think people that's in arm reach. You know what I'm saying? People that's in my local arena. You know? And friends and neighbors and shit that's like around the corner, people you go to school with and shit, you know what I'm saying? I had built a lot of trust in people, comfortable with people, and then I immediately realized these was not the fucking individuals that I needed to be around, you know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers, a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go too much in this video. Anyway, I'm gonna make a video called North Node and Scorpio experiences, revelations and experiences and shit like that. Because experiences, you know what I'm saying? Jupiter is another planet that, I wonder if this damn post office is even open. If it's not, it's okay, because I had a good ass journey. A Walmart is right around the corner. So I might just stop at the Walmart. You know what I'm saying? That is such a cute little truck inside of the truck. That's so cute. But it's okay if it's closed, because Walmart is around the corner. It's right up there. Maybe I'll go to Walmart and get something. Maybe I'll do a little video on Walmart, like, you know, even though I need to chill, because I have been indulging. Yeah, the gate closed and shit, so it's probably closed. But even though I have been getting a lot of shit, spent a lot of money and shit, I could do, you know, fruits and vegetable alchemy video with food stamps or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I'm gonna just go to Walmart. But yeah, so, you know, I done experienced a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? And experiences come with Jupiter, you know what I'm saying? Your experiences is Jupiter. When you experience shit, you're able to expand and extract knowledge from that shit based off of your experience. If you're not experiencing shit, you don't got no knowledge and wisdom. You know what I'm saying? So, and then when it comes to Jupiter, like, Jupiter is everything related to education. You know what I'm saying? What you teaching, how you the student. You know what I'm saying? How you being taught, what you teaching. You know what I'm saying? Everything related to education. You know what I'm saying? That what school is. You know what I'm saying? It's Jupiter. The school is Jupiter. You know what I'm saying? So it's like with Jupiter and Scorpio in my third house, and Jupiter don't like to be in the third house. You know what I'm saying? Jupiter do not like to be in the third house, because Jupiter is about long distance travel, and the third house is about local travel. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I gotta learn to place things in certain areas. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, sometimes I be feeling like I know all this shit. Like, I be thinking like, I already know everything about that. You know what I'm saying? I know, like, if I'm working at a particular job or something, and I've been working, and this was part of my experience too. Like, where I would work at a job, right? I would work at a job, and I would feel like, oh, I've been working here this amount of time. I feel comfortable doing this. Boom. A new person will come. A new fucking person will come, right? And they would be trying to tell me shit. And I'm just like, bitch, I've been fucking working here and it's been just fine. You know what I'm saying? Getting tips and everything. Why the fuck are you in my face? You know what I'm saying? And like, and I would get into those moments or whatever. But it's like, thinking I know and shit. But it's like, I have to learn in those times. It's shit for you to learn. It's shit for me to learn. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It been going good. You've been learning. You learned enough. You developed this skill. You developed this pattern and this familiar routine. But when you get too fixated and too in familiar shit, just in general in life, some shit usually comes around to kind of shake you up out of that shit, to, you know, transform you and learning how to do things in another way and not be so fixated in that way. You know what I'm saying? Because let's say the lesson could be something like, yeah, you comfortable in that way, but that's all you've been experiencing while you was comfortable and familiar in doing that shit. Now, it's a completely different circumstance and situation. You know what I'm saying? And with this different circumstance and situation, I know I can easily adjust and adapt and do improv and shit. But it's like the skills that this person that's new that came and is trying to teach you, that's another way of doing it that's not familiar to you and that can make you frustrated, could be the shit that make it easier for what the fuck else that you need to be doing, where you need to apply that. But you got to get through them first frustrations and put that fucking ego aside. Instead of you thinking you know shit, you can learn from other people. You can learn from other people that you feel like ain't shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can learn from even the people that think, you know, like you could learn, like I could learn from the family members and shit that truly deeply inside ain't shit and think they better than everybody. And it will boost their fucking ego and dopamine and shit if I sit and listen to what the fuck they gotta say, act like I give a fuck, and act like I'm applying that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that will boost the fuck out their ego. But fuck that shit. These niggas might have some actual gems, and I might not be applying it to the areas they talking about, but you can always learn something. You can learn from anybody. Anybody could be your teacher. You sit and shut the fuck up and listen to some shit. You know what I'm saying? You can learn a whole lot, whether it's a old fucking person with dementia that barely even know who the fuck they are, or a little kid that was just born and is just goo goo gaga. You can learn a lot of shit from any and everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's something. It's very important that I've needed to learn, that I need to continue to learn in these different areas of my life. You know, but it gets like with my North Node in Scorpio conjuncting with my Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Pluto, right? It's usually, you know, that's a good thing, because it's like, you know, my spiritual path is right in front of me. The shit I was doing before, it's like I was on my spiritual path, but I just didn't finish the shit I need to finish. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's like, these are the tools, they right here. You know what I'm saying? But when you're real good at something, you got all the tools, something is right in front of your face. You know, sometimes you can get lazy with that shit. Like, sometimes I experience too much familiarity. I want to hurry up and jump about that shit and find something, you know what I'm saying, and find something that's more unfamiliar, you know what I'm saying? Because the familiar shit can get boring, and it's just like, I could learn from that boring shit that's familiar and shit like that, and building up that routine and pattern. It's damn near like, if I be working at a job too long, living at a certain place too long, I'll be like, all right, it's time to move to another neighborhood, it's time to move to another job, you know what I'm saying? Or even if I don't feel like that, if I get too fucking comfortable into a certain job and shit like that, you know what I'm saying, something gonna come up anyway. It's almost like I can smell that shit coming, like, oh yeah, things been going good for a long time, you know what I'm saying? Things been smooth, you know, so something could happen, you know, type shit. So it's just like, okay, be prepared for that shit, because you know these patterns tend to come. So it's like, instead of being worrisome in a way that's detrimental, you know what I'm saying, you can use that nerve type of energy in other areas where it's just like, see from a mile away and being prepared, you know what I'm saying, having other shit established, saving fucking money, not indulging so much and getting too comfortable. Because I work at a job and I'll be making a certain amount of money and I'll spend the whole thing, you know what I'm saying, I'll spend the whole check that day, you know what I'm saying, like it's a problem, you know what I'm saying. So it's like, and that goes again with what I was talking about previously with my job and shit like that. This is the phone company I have. It's called Claro. It's like a Puerto Rico one. But anyway, so yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I got a lot of trons, I got a lot of gifts. I came here with a lot of fucking tools. You know what I'm saying? I didn't come from a super fucked up family. Well, I did come from a fucked up family, but not like I was starving and hungry. And the times that I didn't have like a place to stay and shit like that, it was when I was with my flunked out ass Pisces dad. You know what I'm saying? And it was probably like 2 months out of my life. You know, it wasn't like all these years and I had to go to school and didn't have shit. Like, it wasn't like that, you know what I'm saying? But I did experience shit that seemed like a lot at the time, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't so consistent, you know what I'm saying? Where it was like, you know, not having a place to stay all this time. The people, you know, nah, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, so my life wasn't that fucked up. I had a lot of gifts and shit, you know, so it's like, yeah, that's good, you know what I'm saying? But, you feel me? You don't want to have too much of some type of, like, you got so much gifts, you got so much talents, you got so much all of this, and it makes you fucking lazy as hell, and you missing your gems and rings that you need for this lifetime and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, although, you know, I need to be learning, and my North Node is in my third house, which is familiar places and people and things and shit like that. you know, I don't want to get too lost in like, oh, this is familiar, that's why I should be doing it. Like, no, it's like having balance in certain areas, having balance in certain things, having balance between my ninth house and my third house, because my ninth house is the opposite of my, you know, my south node or whatever, but it kind of cuts with my 10th house and shit. So it's like previously, you know what I'm saying, let's say when it comes to like it cuts me with my 10th house, it's like, yo, like before I had my career shit straight, you know what I'm saying, and now it's like, yo, like I'm working on that shit. I'm finding a new way and a different way to do that shit, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I just like went through a lot, but in these like unique type of ways, like ways you ain't never really heard before, like not the type of shit where it's like, oh, like I heard that story, you know, like parents on drugs and shit. Even though my dad was on drugs, but you know what I'm saying, it's not like a Eminem and shit, you know what I'm saying. It's not, well, I don't really know about his life, but I'm saying like my parents wasn't like, it had more so to do with like me and my imagination, the stuff I thought about, the stuff I manifested into my life based off of what I was thinking. And me and my siblings, we lived all completely different lives, you know what I'm saying. We all came out completely fucking different. And me and my well, I got like a few siblings or whatever, but me, my little sister, and my brother, we all got the same mom and dad and shit. And you know, based off your parents' energy is how you can like deal with your frustrations and how your frustrations play out and shit like that, you know. So but the way that we all deal with our frustrations is so different. Like the way I deal with my frustrations and then the way I deal with pain and shit like that is different than how my other siblings do. I feel like it's highly related to creativity though, you know what I'm saying, highly creativity and high shit too. Like we all love weed, you know what I'm saying, all three of us, we love some weed, you know what I'm saying. But our experience is just so fucking different. And, you know, it's like, that's why I said, like, what I experienced, like, yeah, I went through shit, but it was just in a completely different way, just based off of my mindset, the shit I was thinking. And, like, you know, like for instance, my other siblings, I don't really know what they was involved in when I was involved in shit. Like I wasn't really allowed to be home in the summer and shit. Like these niggas did not want me to be bored. Like I couldn't just be chilling in the house and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to go to camp. I had to go to basketball practice. I had to go to Girl Scouts. I had to go to youth leadership. I had to go to this activity, that activity. You know what I'm saying? I had to always be a part of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I rarely remember just chilling at home. I was never at home by myself. You know what I'm saying? I was never at fucking home by myself. You know what I'm saying? Did not have a key to the house or none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Until I got older. And then it was like they barely even wanted to give me that shit. Because it's like, alright, don't fucking lose this shit. You know what I'm saying? Versus like my other siblings, where it's like, it wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Just based off of how we are made up and shit like that. But I gotta figure out this damn street, because streets be different and shit. It don't be like so, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even the way I cross the damn street, it's like for my mom, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I know for a fact my mom don't cross the street like this. But my dad, my Pisces ass fucking dad, he probably crossed the street very similar to how I crossed the damn street. And I remember, like, with my Pisces ass dad, we was always going on fucking journeys in the fucking la imagination land, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was always something. I swear, like, we would be walking for hours and hours and hours and hours just to go to the damn supermarket, you know what I'm saying? And, like, it's just like, goddamn. But with my mom, we was always in the car, you know what I'm saying? We was always in the car. I remember specifically a day when mom had got a new car, and she had pulled up to the school, and I was in, like, after school or some shit, and she had came to pick me up. And the guy that would be there, he would always see my mom in a certain car. But it was one day she ain't had her car. And he like, your mom here? And I'm like, no, she not. That's not her car. You know what I'm saying? She just happened to have a new car, you know what I'm saying, type shit. But with my dad, I never remember him having a car. Not saying that, you know what I'm saying, with Pisces and shit like that, they don't have, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, with my mom, shit was always very structured. You know, she was very into practicality. You know what I'm saying? Even though my mom's a Libra sun, Sagittarius moon. And so, like, not to say these reasons is because of that, but I'm just saying she's always been very practical. She's always thinking ahead. if she got something to do on a particular day, she gonna wake up early to do it. You know what I'm saying? She barely miss work, barely be late, barely ever been late on rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom is, you know, versus my dad. That nigga is fucked up in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I love the balance between both of them, and I'm very happy that I chose my parents, and I understand why I chose my parents, and it's a very good balance, and I love that shit. You know what I'm saying? And like, even though like I'm not so close to them, and they're not like so in my life or anything like that, but I see how they attributes like played out in like my life and shit, and why like I am the way I am, and like I do things the way I do them, how I deal with my frustrations, you know what I'm saying, how I deal with like certain shit just in my life in general. It's just like, you know, I'm grateful. You know what I'm saying? I'm very grateful. But anyway, so yeah, like right now I am in Plaza Escorial, and this is basically like, this area over here, it reminds me a lot of Florida, you know, like the part of Florida I'm familiar with, which is Jacksonville, which is North Florida. You know, like this area is kind of like Dunn Avenue, you know what I'm saying? Like Dunn Avenue, where it's like all these different fast food restaurants and shit, you know what I'm saying? Movies, and mall type vibes, Walmart is probably around, you know, like Regency too, like that. Not ratchet Regency. Well, Regency is honestly not that ratchet, especially compared to the places I lived after that. But like, I just mean as like as far as the people that go to Regency, you know what I'm saying? Like, but Regency itself is not like the hood or nothing like that. Even though low-key hood should be happening there, I think I just be thinking like, oh, a place is really hood if really hood. A place is really hood if it's like drug infested, and it's like crackheads, and it's like dirty and shit like that. Like if it has all three of those factors, then I would be thinking sometimes like that's what makes it the hood. But it's, everybody got a different hood. It's a hood everywhere, you know what I'm saying? Not one thing or three things together is what defines a hood, like, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, this area is very nice, and it is completely fucking different than to where I live at. And this part of Puerto Rico is actually Carolina, you know, so I done walked to a whole nother damn city. Went from Río Piedras to Carolina. So we got Panda Express. You know what I'm saying? The camera was probably shaky throughout, but as I've told y'all, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna develop some comfortability with the way I'm doing things, the way the camera is shaking, you know what I'm saying, the way things is, you know, how I'm doing my channel, how it's like different random videos, you know what I'm saying, you never know what the fuck I'm about to post, you know what I'm saying, I don't, you know what I'm saying, like, and it's cool because Uranus is in Taurus, you know what I'm saying, and Uranus is change, rebellion, and opposition and shit, you know what I'm saying, and Taurus is fixed earth, you know what I'm saying, you fixated on your way of building practicality and shit like that. So it's like, the way I'm building my practicality is in this fixed way of like, this is me, this is how I'm doing it. I see how other people YouTube channels is, they edited it. You know what I'm saying? Like they edited it and they structured it out real good. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like they got intros and real good cameras, and they don't curse, and they got topics and plans and shit. Like I just want to show my realistic ass life, like how I cross the street, how I interact with the world, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like this is an example, like even though this is not exactly the video that's titled and specifically for that, as far as, here's Walmart as you can see, as far as like this is not the video for North Node and Scorpio or whatever, but I'm playing out my North Node, you know what I'm saying? I'm playing out my North Node in Scorpio, my South Node in Taurus, how my North Node in Scorpio conjuncts with this shit, and like, you know what I'm saying? Just how I'm playing things out. Like I feel like, because, you know, Venus comes with love, appreciation, and value. Mercury, you know, is communication, how you think, how you communicate things in your mind, to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And also I got Pluto in Scorpio, so Pluto is transformation. You know what I'm saying? What else? Jupiter is transformation, you traveling, you expanding your education. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is my school. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is Jupiter day. This is me educating y'all based off of how I'm just walking around, how I cross the street, the different areas. You know what I'm saying? You might not have been to Puerto Rico before. You might not have known certain words. All right, so I know that Walmart is right here, but I low-key want to see the plants and the flowers and shit. You know what I'm saying? I want to visit the flowers and shit. I want to see if they like different than the last time I seen them, which is like at Home Depot, which is right beside, like right in between and beside here and shit. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So instead of me like talking about certain topics and shit, which is cool, it's like I'd rather walk around and show y'all how I actually move and how I actually do things. You know what I'm saying? It'd be security right out in the front. I wonder why. But anyway, so I'm about to go in there and just like look at the flowers and shit like that. So, buena. So these are the flowers and shit. It's so beautiful in here. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so things are set up a little bit different. It was something right here that was a sign about like the holidays and shit like that. Right there. I meant right here. And it said like something about regalito, which is like gifts. It said something about, it said el mejor. I'm probably saying that fucked up. El mejor, which is best. Regalitos, like the best gift is flowers, basically. But yeah, so it's real beautiful in here. You know, I just kind of wanted to show it real quick. My fingers kind of hurting. I'm kind of hungry, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just wanted to walk through there real quick. I low-key wanna I wanna find the paint aisle, and I wanna see. Oh, this is what it said. El mejor regalo. I think this is a weed whacker. Yeah. This is a weed whacker, right? And the first time I used one of these, it was when I was working at this farm. This time last year, January, February. But yeah, this is some of the stuff that was like in there. But I guess they like separated it or whatever. But yeah, I low key. Oh, here go the colors and the paint and shit. So I just kind of want to be in the environment and be in a place of like things I feel comfortable with and like the vibes of like home. And even though like my Sagittarius in 4th house, which is my home, my moon is in Cancer. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm just, you know, I'm just into both. Like I'm in all the home type energy. Like I'm at home and I'm traveling and walking around a lot and shit like that, and you know, being chaotic and all over the place and stuff like that. Especially when it comes to like the energies I picked up from a Pisces dad. You know what I'm saying? Not to say it's all about that and shit, but you know, I'm just saying where it's like the certain level of like Home Depot is like a structured place. You know what I'm saying? Like it's people that actually be having to buy and get washing machines and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's people that actually have houses and shit, and they gotta find and purchase the right dishwasher and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. You know, they gotta buy refrigerators and shit, the shit that go over the stove. You know what I'm saying? Like I watch so many different channels. Ooh, this is spray paint. Ooh, look at the bright colors. Like, and that's one thing where it's like, yo, like I'm the type of person that would spray paint my whole crib, like all these different colors, and not give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? But like, ooh, look at this pretty pink. But it's like now, like where I moved to now, it's you know, they got rules and shit in place. Like, oh, you can't paint it, whatever. So I'm like, let me low-key try to follow them. Or let me just low-key just do something different instead of me thinking, like, this person's trying to control me. You know, instead of it being that, I could just see it more so like, just hanging up posters and shit, like organizing my art, organizing the art that I already have in certain places instead of like doing the things the way I was doing it before. But yeah, these is like the roller trays and shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a whole lot of, you know what I'm saying, paint and shit. Okay, so here's some of the colors right here. But, alright, so I'm about to head out. I'm going to use the other exit instead of the original one that I used. Here's some more colors. So they got, you know what I'm saying? Amarillo, yellow, y lima is lime, I believe. The verde is green. Esmeralda, I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's right here. You know what I'm saying? The name of it. Turquesa, azul, cobalto, which is probably cobalt, like the cobalt blue. Violeta, probably violet. Blanco. Colección de diseñador. Okay, so diseñador is like design. So it's like collection of design or some shit like that. But yeah, I low-key, I had came here one day. Oh, this is, you know what I'm saying, this is some real good adulting, responsible shit. You know what I'm saying? You got the crib where you got the thing set up, you know what I'm saying? You probably got somebody you call in and they set it up for you. I be seeing the commercials and the ads and all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Yo, it's just like, the way my life is, it's like, I be seeing shit, like seeing some of the shit real life, like in person and shit. It remind me like of a movie or some shit like that, because like I be seeing certain shit in movies. I be seeing certain shit on like ads and TV and shit, but because my life is so different, I just be like that's like I be seeing it as movie type shit or whatever. But anyway, so I was about to say that, like, is this not good? Yo, I was like, is this not the damn exit? But yeah, I forgot what I was about to say, but what I was about to say before that though is like the other day my mom had asked me, she's like, so like, cause I was talking to her about like the days of the week and like what they mean, because she asked me like if I would go up to a certain office on Monday, and I'm like, nah, because I wouldn't do that type of stuff on a Monday. She's like, why? And I'm like, because Mondays represent this or whatever and stuff like that. And then I just happened to go through all the days of the week. But when I went through the days of the week, I named the days of the week in Spanish too, like lunes, Monday, martes, Tuesday, miércoles is Wednesday, jueves is Thursday, viernes is Friday, sábado is Saturday, domingo is Sunday, right? But like for instance for Moon Day, moon in Spanish is like luna, right? Tuesday is Marte, but I actually forgot how to say Mars in Spanish. It's something like Marte. But Wednesday is miércoles, Wednesday. But miércoles, which is the planet of communication, which is Mercury Day, is Merculio, you know what I'm saying? And then, so miércoles, Merculio, Wednesday, Mercury, you know what I'm saying? All together, whatever. And you might think that Wednesday don't have the correlation, but a W upside down is what? A M, fuck you talking about? Everything is in reverse, you know what I'm saying? So then Thursday, you feel me, is Jueves, and Thursday is Jupiter Day, so the J, you know what I'm saying, Jupiteria, Jupiter Day, you know what I'm saying? And then Friday is Vierne, or Friday is Vierne, or Binu, which is Venus Day, like Venus Day, or whatever. And then, okay, yeah, so this is one thing I was thinking about too, right? So I'm in Walmart now, as you can see. This is what it's looking like, you feel me? So, you know, Monday is like, I have no reason to walk down this aisle. It's just not as much commotion on this aisle, but like Sunday is Domingo, you feel me? And so when you break down the word Domingo, it's like, in Spanish, it's like do, you feel me? I mean, in English, it's like do. Do is money, you know what I'm saying? Do is bread, you know what I'm saying? Mean is like the significance, you know what I'm saying? Like significado, right? Significado, significa, and shit like that, right? So it's like money mean go, you feel me? Go, like don't mean go, you feel me? Like Domingo is like the dough means go, you know what I'm saying? The money is moving, you know what I'm saying? The money is moving, the money is transforming, the money is transitioning, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's like a spiritual way to look at Sunday, Domingo in Spanish, you know what I'm saying, to correlate shit. So that's another way that I'll be learning as far as like spirituality, and also learning Spanish at the same time, you feel me? So I don't know why I'm inside. I need to go with a food at. You know what I'm saying? I'm just walking around shit. And that's one thing too. Like, you know how you could go in the woods and get lost, and you travel, you go to different places and locations, and you're like, okay, this is where my spirit led me to. So this is what space that I'm in. So this is what I got going on. How you can do that in the woods and shit. But you can also do that in the supermarket. Like, don't have a plan, just walk around and shit. People always suggest plans and shit. But like, I feel like low-key the best thing for me in my life was not having a plan, you know what I'm saying? Because it forced me to learn enough about me and my spiritual path and shit. But yeah. Okay, so this area, this aisle is good for me when it comes to organization, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is something that I need to get better with, you know what I'm saying? So my organization, you know what I'm saying? Organization, having different colors and shit, different themes and shit like that. And I'm grateful for the day that I can come in, you know what I'm saying, a supermarket, into a store, and I can actually buy shit that's not food. You know what I'm saying? I can actually buy shit that I'm waiting for that day. I'm grateful. Oh, I'm not gonna say I'm waiting on that day. I'm grateful for that day, and I'm in the state of being this. Ooh, it led me right to the art. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm a go slow in this area. I don't give a fuck about nothing I was just talking about. I'm in the art aisle, and I'm looking at what the fuck they got to offer, and I'm going to in this video in this aisle, and I'm gonna start the next video in this aisle, because I already planned to do a video like this of like the art aisle in Walmart type shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get a real good feel of these sketchbooks, because the way they feel inside is very important. You know what I'm saying? Like the mixed media, that's the one where you can use watercolor, you can use basically any of these. So how this is watercolor and this is like drawn, so it's like not as the same thickness. So you see right here where it says 300 GM or whatever, that's basically the texture, like the thickness of the paper, you know what I'm saying? So with watercolor paper and mixed media paper, they're a lot similar, because you can do watercolor on both of these. But with mixed media, you can also do you can do other, like you can do charcoal, for instance. Is it called charcoal? Whatever is like the adult No, pastel. I'm talking about charcoal. Oil pastel, yeah. Pastel is basically like adult crayons type shit. Um, but yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, I'm grateful that I'm able to see this stuff in person because, like, I be seeing this stuff online. I be seeing different videos. I be making certain playlists on YouTube about certain shit, like Amazon and shit. Like, I be seeing these markets on Amazon and shit like that. So I'm grateful that I can actually see these in person. Like, wow, it is real. Like, oh, this is a portable easel I was damn talking about. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was just saying before. Like, when it comes to like the spiritual nature that you already in, like I didn't look at no signs to be led to get here. You know what I'm saying? At all. You know what I'm saying? And this is where I've been led to be. And there's so many different sizes of like sketchbooks and shit like that. And I seen all of these on Amazon. I'm just like, wow, like this is real. Like this shit is real. Like this ain't just some TV shit. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. But but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here in the art supply section. Let me see what I want the thumbnail to be. Do I want it to be some art and shit? I don't know. But yeah. Yeah.